excuse me, voice. I have a cold, but so I'm going to sound very raspy right now. But I decided to try my hand at, well, literally try my hand at the no brushes makeup challenge using only your hands. And oh my god, this is what I came up with. It is, oh my gosh. I thought that, I thought this was going to be easy because, I'm like 39 years old, and like when I was coming up, most of the makeup that you did with your hands. You put your foundation off your hands. Well, you didn't put your mascara on with your hands, but sometimes you would put your lipstick on and your eyeshadow on and even your blush on with your hands. So I figured, yeah, I could do this. I have it down pat. Lord child, you'll see. Well, I'm the one that tried to do my brows. It was the mascara just wasn't working. Even the eyeshadow wasn't working. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I really could not do this. And also, I got big behind hands because I'm like 6 foot. And I have like very large hands. So, with, fat fingers. So I'm like trying to get in there. I'm like, got mascara smudged all down in here. It was truly a mess. And then like, I don't know, I guess back then some of the foundation was a little bit more watery when I was coming up. But then again, I think I really didn't wear foundation that much. So I guess, come to think of it, I really didn't think this all the way through. But this is what I came up with, and I would say if I was like in 7th grade, this wouldn't be bad. But then again, with some of these kids nowadays doing makeup, yeah, it probably would still be bad. So I'd probably give it, if I was a 2-year-old, this look isn't bad. Okay, so I'll let you get on to the video. You see what a hack job I did. Bye. So of course applying primer with your hands isn't a big deal, but it was a little bit heavy-handed because I typically would apply, especially this type of primer, with a sponge. So that was a little bit tricky setup. Already wasn't starting off on the right foot. Okay, now I tried my hand at doing some color correcting, which I really do rely on brushes and sponges for this because my fingers don't really smooth out, especially the green color corrector that I use. It doesn't really smooth it out enough. So it was kind of like really thick looking and patchy. And I was really worried about it being concealed under the foundation. And I also used my orange concealer to help out with dark spots. And I think I just gave up on trying to get like all the dark spots, to be honest. So I just try to go after the larger ones. And like I said, even using my fingers, it wasn't really all that great trying to blend it out. And I did skip a step that I use, because sometimes I will use like a orange powder to kind of cover up some of the lighter areas, before I apply foundation. And I need a brush for that, and I was not trying to rely on my hands for that one, so I just completely skipped that step. And Lord knows, girl, you'll just see. Okay, now this part I thought was going to be really easy for me, applying foundation with my hands, like a liquid foundation, because I have done that like when I was younger, but then I think I forgot that I wasn't very good at it with my hands back then. So I don't know, I guess I thought, since I've been, wearing makeup, a lot, in my 20s and 30s, that I would be good at it using my hands, but it just didn't feel good. It just didn't look all that good. And I guess it's also because I like the finish that my brush and a blender give me. So it just felt very heavy. It looked a complete mess. Like if you saw a close-up of it, it was It was just horrible. It was a horror show. Okay, now applying the concealer with my hands wasn't really that bad. It was much easier, and I guess that might have been one of the reasons why I thought the foundation would have went easier, but it didn't. But the concealer, that was the easiest part. You just dab, dab, and smooth. I guess because it's not really that large of an area that I'm doing, that might have been why it was easier. But I really did like the concealer results for that. And I don't, well, no, because I wouldn't be able to use setting powder. I was starting to think that maybe if I just did concealer and powder, but yeah, using my hands to do powder wasn't going to be that great of a thing. But I probably would have been better, but see, my skin, I had have a very bad acne breakout going on right now, so there was no way I was going to go light on foundation and everything, so I guess there was really no way for it to actually look all that great without using makeup tools, so yeah, I picked the worst week to sit up there and do this. I'm stupid. Now, using a setting powder, which was I used the e.l.f. HD powder for this, and that actually wasn't that bad. Like, I just put a little bit on my fingers to get underneath my under eye area to try and help with creasing, although that didn't do as great of a job. And then I just put some on my hands, smooth it together, then just patted my face, and that actually was not bad. It seemed to work really well. But I'm thinking I might have did that part a little bit too soon. I probably should have waited to do that, like, I don't know, maybe after I did my eyes or something. And this is just eyeshadow primer. I always use my hands to do that. I never use a brush for my eyeshadow primer, so this was nothing. Okay, now for eyeshadow, this really wasn't that bad, but I probably could have did a little bit better, with certain things. But I think I wanted to try to do something a little bit more with it, because usually if I just do my fingers, with eyeshadow, I usually use a cream one, but I decided to use the powder for it, and I usually just do like maybe 2 colors, and I wanted to get like a little bit fancier with it to see if I could do it. So I used I think I used 4 colors on it, trying to create like depth, and it was a little bit tricky, but not too much, and I wasn't going like crazy with the colors, so it wasn't that bad. But I did miss, not being able to blend. Like, 'cause even if I won't use a brush, I will use a Q-tip, at least to help like clean up things, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't use anything but my fingers, and my fingers are not good at cleaning up anything, and I don't have nails, so it wasn't like I could like dig a nail in and like scrape away anything. So like mess ups, when they happen, I either had to just leave them there or use more eyeshadow to try and cover it up. But the worst part that I had was actually trying to do like the smoky eye part, like at my lower lash line. That gave me the most trouble with the eyeshadow. But I tried to do it as best as I could, so maybe I should probably do a challenge like this more often so I get used to it. Because if I gotta do something like this on the fly, I want to be able to do it and do it well. Okay, right here I'm trying to do the brows, and I don't know why I didn't sit up there and brush these darn bushy behind caterpillar brows before I started this, and the hairs were just going every which way, and I couldn't tame them because I couldn't use a brush or anything. I had to use my fingers, and my fingers were not taming them, right? So I had to try to put powder on them because that's the only thing that wouldn't just look a horrible mess. And I gave up. I was like, look, it got color. I'm done. Okay, now this is what I was dreading trying to put mascara on. And I'm like, at the very least, a two coat girl when it comes to mascara because I don't do false eyelashes. Which at this point, I probably wish that I did do false eyelashes because I probably wouldn't even bother with mascara at all. But yeah, the mascara, putting it on there, it just was not working right. It was drying up on my hand because I put the mascara on my hand. It was drying up on my hand before I really got to get any, you know, on my lashes. And of course, it wasn't doing anything to separate, lengthen, or whatever. All it was putting some color on, and that was it. Which will help the gray eyelashes I have, but nothing much else with it. But I was able to use some of it to smudge a little bit more at the lower lash line, so it helped to increase the darkness of that smoky eye. If that's about the best that I could say about it. Yeah, I tried to do contour. But the contour, it was not the best contour work that I've done. Like, it's probably one of the, like, when I do contour, I like for it to be subtle where you really can't see it. But, like, you could tell that I did the contouring work this time around because, of course, no brushes to really blend it out. But I didn't use, like, the same tones that I normally use. When I contour, I usually use, like, the last two colors in that palette, for most of my contouring, so it can, really hollow out some areas. But I tried to go for the lighter shades within it so it would look, I guess, more bronzy than anything. And it looked a bit bronze, but it wasn't like any kind of harsh contour. And I don't even know, but I was trying to get down around the, well, my almost jawline because it's damn double chin. Excuse my language, but trying to get that, so I don't know. And I tried to get the nose as best as I could, and blend that out. And I don't know. All I can say is I tried. She tried, y'all. I tried. Now this is a cheek tint, so I normally will use my fingers for that. And sometimes I would try to diffuse the color a little bit more with a brush, but I don't always use a brush to diffuse it. So using my fingers for the blush, that wasn't anything new for me. That probably was like, that and the concealer were probably the easiest parts of this for me. Well, maybe the lip too, because sometimes I used to do a lot with my fingers for lips, but we'll get to that part later. But that wasn't that bad. And then highlighting. Highlighting was a bit tricky. Like, I didn't want to use like some of my other highlighters that I have. So I tried to go with the golden thing because I figure going golden, it would highlight, but it wouldn't be like a big contrast. So if it turned out looking real funky, it wouldn't be that noticeable. And now I'm doing the lip. I started out with using, what the heck did I use? Oh yeah, I used the the lip and cheek tint as the base for it, to give it that base color. And then, yeah, my eyes were watering there. I was trying to keep the tears from flowing. It was so horrible. Nah, it was smoke was around because someone was cooking. But then I actually used the purple eyeshadow color in the Misty Lim palette to go over top of that red velvet lip and cheek tint, to kind of vamp it up a little bit. And then I used the gloss over top of that so I can get that pow shine going on. And that, I have to say, probably was like the best part of this whole ordeal, was getting the lip down, which I'll probably do that again